Hi guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. Now this is what if female Deku had God Kiana's powers as a quirk. I forget what part. Give me a second here. This is part 3. Now before we begin our what if, I'm gonna get some information out of the way. For the one that are wondering when I'll be doing some more of Jack Frost Deku. That will be on hold until I get Dragonkin Deku to the at least to the USJ attack. Then I'll switch over to my other one. I'll switch over to Jack Frost Deku. So that's how that's gonna work. So let you guys know the information how I'm gonna switch off between the two series. In future reference, I'll make a schedule. I'll create a schedule for it at some time near the future. And before we begin this part, I'm going to put a poll up a little later, maybe after the video, seeing if you want me to implement Young Justice into the series, because she still has almost 4 years of high school to go through before I get it to UA. Because, like in Natural, my UAs are in college, so we got all that time to add on to the story, give some characters more depth, and some stuff like that. Just normal storytelling stuff. So I'll put a poll up if you want to see her, bringing some Young Justice stuff into the what if. Now, like in future last parts, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her name right now. Yeah, that's just not going to happen, honestly. So she'll be referred as the Queen. That's the Queen for future reference. So when she's speaking and stuff like that. So let's get on to our story. And oh, I forgot to mention this for future reference. If you don't remember, I'm using mascara or something like that. I forget the name of it, of the current name of the island. But for right now, we're gonna use the original name for it, Paradise Island, just because it was before they rebooted the Amazon's backstory and everything like that. So we'll be using the original for it, Paradise Island, before they changed it at some point. Now, I don't remember what condition she was in when she got to Paradise Island, but let's say she was in a very weakened state, so she can't really walk around very much. So this is how we're gonna do this. So as we're just gonna do a little, skip a little, like a week or two, as the queen of the Amazons took care of, Kiane. At first, Kiane was very hostile, not to devolve any history, backstory on her at first, but slowly she begins to open up to the queen. Short pause for the story, and for my sake, let's just say the Amazons know Japanese because Kine doesn't really. She knows English. No, let's say scratch that. Let's say she just speaks, English, and I think Amazons, yeah, they know normal English. So let's just say she talks English to them. There is one thing. There is one thing Kennedy did straight off the bat is start learning different languages just to be just to have that on her belt. So in case she has to go outside of the country for some reason, she'll know to talk to people. So able to know where things go and stuff like that. The queen walks into the room as Kine was reading. As she's like, I forget her name. As Queen Hapalfa walks through the door, I know I butchered that, but Hapalfa, something like that. As Kine's like, what's this? It's clothes, my dear. What you're wearing, it's not appropriate for the public eye. As she looks at it, she's still wearing her tattered clothes, what she was wearing previous. And she's like, yeah, I probably should get dressed and take a. And where am I exactly? As the queen explains, that will all. I'll tell you enough. I'll tell you when you get dressed. We're gonna have a walk. As Kine agreed, as the queen leaves the room. Now, as Kine puts on the everyday clothes of an Amazon, it would be, I guess, it would be some sort of tunic. I'm not going to go into the details in the fashion bullshit. No, I'm not going to go in depth into the what if like that for the does for clothes. For does everyday clothes, so it's just their everyday outfit. So not sure what they wear, but it doesn't really matter. As Kine walks out, as they begin to walk, as Kine looks the corner of her eye, as she sees the scenery, as she Feliz, I don't really remember now, but the queen was like, what country are we in? And she smiles. We're not technically, I'm not sure if they consider them a country from themselves. This is not a country, dear. We're on an island. Outside of touch, outside of reach of the men's world. As, what do you mean, men's world? You're at, welcome. This is Paradise Island, the birthplace of all Amazonian kind. As she's thinking, as before we continue on, she has Japan has some knowledge of the Justice League because it's a worldwide hero group. Even though Japan likes to censor some stuff, they like to censor anything outside of the hero organization. So they don't like to have news travel about their information. But Kinjay dug up some things and came across the Justice League through news articles and outside of Japan television tapes, stuff like that. So as she's thinking quietly, do you have any affiliation with a woman, a pro hero calling herself Wonder Woman? As Kina is kind of looking at her by the Queen's view, she's looking at her intensely, but that's just her natural look. The Queen understands her little quirks, and she did brought up her quirks. What her she has a quirk. The Amazon didn't really know much about it. They've heard about it just because Diana brought it up when she was visiting her mother one day. So they know, the queen knows of the drawback. They're She's going to start, trying to help her with that. That's what I got planned so far. So, and she's like, yeah, that's my daughter. And she's like, okay, that explains where I am. But my question is, how did I get here? Because people from the outside world just don't stroll into your Amazon territory There's something else at play here. You are correct. Entry into this place is very hard. Not impossible, but it can be done. But you are a special case. You were brought in by Goddess Era. I mean, Hera. I don't know if I said that right, but probably not, but whatever. As Kine is like, yeah, gods. Wait, what? That can't be right. Gods don't exist. As the queen smiles, quite a few of them, actually. You'll be surprised. So as she's trying to figure out why would a okay, but why would a god take notice of me of anyone else in the world? That's I don't know not. I do not know that, dear. Miss Goddess Hera does a lot of things that us mortals will never know. I'm not sure if these Amazons are considered mortals, but for the story's sake, let's say they are, because I think they would gods would consider them still mortals. But they're just a lot more powerful. Well, for short pause, I think Wonder Woman's like a demigod, so I think they would be demis basically. But whatever, they're I'm not going to get into the lore of the Amazons because I know they're stronger, faster than normal humans, so we're not going to get into that. Okay, I won't get into this whole god aspect of the conversation. So, what happens now? Am I some sort of prisoner? I'm guessing you can't just let me go willingly free. It's half to, that's half correct, Kine. As they sit down for a minute, as they're like, I can't allow you to leave this island until you've been properly trained. As Kine, what are you talking about? Simple. We're gonna train you in our ways, and we're gonna help you with that little vicious side of you have going for you. As Kine's like, you can't. That's way too dangerous. No, dear. We're gonna we're going to understand it. Then we're gonna see how you could use it instead of controlling it. Instead of it controlling you, you're gonna control it. As they continue their walk around the palace, the Amazon Palace or whatever they like to call it. I don't know what the name of it would be, but I think a palace would be best suited. But I don't, like I said, I really don't know. As Kine's like, where are we going? Don't worry. As they get to Archway, as she's like, you wait here. I have to make, I have to take care of this. As she gather all of her people. They're in like the throne room, so she has something to say. Everyone knows that their queen is about to speak. I'm gonna do a little brief summary of how she rules, just for plot sake. She's very kind to her other Amazons. She treats them like children, and she treats anyone else outside of the Amazon world or their island cold and vicious. So she's a pretty outside of her kingdom. She's been known to be ruthless. So, but this is how I'm going to have her for this what if. She's like, attention, I have something to say. As everyone gets attention, turns her to queen. As they're like, you you have noticed I've been kind of asked. I've been unattachable. As you know, I've been occupied for the past couple weeks. I was making sure our new visitor was recovering well, personally. As some, who is this outsider? Why isn't why isn't he brought into chains? She's like, calm down. It's not a man. It's not a man. It's a young woman. She had a very difficult life out there, out of the man's world, and Goddess Hera herself took her from that place and brought her here. And no more questions about the girl's background. That's personal information that I won't be telling to anyone. All you need to know is Goddess Hera herself found her worthy to be here. From from today on forward, as long as she's on the island, she will be training like us, living like us, eating like us. Any objections? No, Your Majesty. Good. I'd like to introduce you to your new sister. Come on. As she singles a hand gesture to Kine, as she walks up towards the queen, as she's standing next to him. This is your new sister, Kine. As Kine does a bow gesture, because she still have good manners. She's from Yadirozu, so they dig manners and etiquette into their brains young. So she's very ladylike. As some of the M's on it, that was off for them a little bit because Japanese culture is a little different from their own. She finished her bow as she's like, Queen, did I do something wrong? And she's like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. They just don't understand what that is. Kina speaks. My apologies, sisters. That's how we greet people from where I was from. It's uh it's a gesture of hello. Well said, dear Kine. Kine, sorry. As she gestures one of her people, one of the Amazons. It's the one that deals with armory and smithing and stuff like that. Yes. What is it, my queen? I want you to Miss Kine here. Kine, when she's not training, sleeping, eating, or studying, she's going to be in there helping with use the forge. Like I said, she can do everything like we do. She's going to learn to keep her keep like we do. So that includes working as well. Of course, Your Majesty, but are you sure she's even qualified? Who she's like, does she have any talent in it? As the queen smiles. Kine dear, show them. Yes, yes, your queen. Yes, you know, she formally bows to the queen. Any object in mind you want? As the queen's like, make a shield. All right. As everyone's wondering what's going to happen, as there's a decent sized portal comes popping out next to back of Kine's head. As she reaches back there without even looking, as a shield, she creates a shield out of the material that she makes stuff out of with her creation quirk, whatever it is. I'm not gonna go much into the inner workings of her quirk that much. All the Amazons are speechless as they're wondering if she's a demigod. As Kine, that's my quirk, void. As some of them know what the quirk is, so they discuss some information about that, so they they accept that explanation. But some of them think that's like so unfair. So as she got talking to the Amazon that deals with smithing, as they talk a lot their time there. So when she's not training or doing anything else, she's working, making weapons and other stuff that needs to be created without using her quirk. So she did have to learn smithing, but give her more better ideas, give her practice on her creation. Does her imagination altogether after making weapons and off ball stuff like that. Now we go about 2 months. We time skip 2 months. Kine has adjusted living it like an Amazon, working and training and do whatever learning she can while she's there. So she learns, Latin, of course, over there, just because I want to. So to get another language on her belt, I think Latin and Greek would be the major things they would teach her. Even though she spent a lot of time and adjusted to this new living style, she's still not. She's still very hard to approach. She still has that nasty attitude, that cold demeanor. So, a couple of Amazons has tried to be friendly with her a couple times, a couple tries because she would just ignore them half the time. Until one of the younger Amazons had enough of this and just hanging around her, even though she told her to buzz off, flee. But she still hanged around, forced herself, to be her friend. So after that happened several times, they closely, a friendship, just friends. So that's not the ship. So that's just she made a couple friends there. So over that time skip, as we cut to the scene on one of her training days, as she's sparring against a little older Amazon, not too old, about like maybe 5 years older than she is. So she's more experienced because the people around her age can't really keep up with her because she took quite a shine to armed combat a little too well. As you have the Amazon geared up, as they square it off, as they do a gesture, I guess I don't know what they would do. As Kine and the opponent are carrying normal, one-handed normal sword and one-handed shield. The stuff that Wonder Woman usually carries around. As the spar begins, as the Amazon goes into a strike, as Kine blocks it with her shield, as she swings upwards towards the head, as the Amazon jumps backwards and blocks, as Kine smiles, as they both stare at each other, as Kine goes into charge, as they go into a uh sorry shield bash. After the impact of the shield bash, Kine goes in for several swings onto the Amazon as she all she could do is block. As each time she tries to go into the counter strike, Kine's moving that blade pretty fast, so it gets thrown out of her hand. As all she has left is her shield. As each time Kine is bashing her sword against the shield, she's directly getting the distance where her sword was at. As Kine was about to go to a strike, as she ducks and rolls, grab the sword. As soon as their sword clash, Kine reflects it, kicks her knee, or sweeps her leg as she falls on the ground. As Kine drops down on top of her with the sword against her neck. I totally forgot where I was. Oh, I'm not so sure if I record this part, so I'm redo it. So sorry guys if I'm redoing a part that you already. I'm just not totally sure if I did it or not. So let's continue where I thought we left off. After each swing of Kine's sword hitting the shield, the other Amazon was directing them to her sword. As they get into a fair distance close to the sword, after one swing, the Amazon ducks and rolls to the way of the sword is. It's like near on the side of one of them. As she rolls, grabs it. As soon as their sword clash again, Kine reflects it out of her hand, trips her leg as she falls to the ground. As Kine falls on top of her with her sword against her throat, as she looks down at the Amazon, as she has a smirk on her face. All right, Kennedy, I yield. I yield. That's better. Can't say that I'm not enjoying the view though. She's like, what? Her shoes red. As Kennedy gets up. Well, see you at the next session, I guess. As she walks off, as she's never done anything with the other Amazons, but she's been well known to be quite the flirt around everyone. It's just her personality. She's quite flirty when she gets used to people. So there's that. We're probably gonna stop it here because I'm at the point where in the story where I could go two different directions. So the poll I'm going to put up if I'm going to add if you guys want me to add Young Justice to the story. So the next episode will be crucial on where I take the story or not, if I add Young Justice or not, because it's going to split off in two different ways I want to go. So whatever way if you want to see the Young Justice into the story, her time until she gets to UA, then I could do that. I just have to do some backgrounds on the group a little more. I've seen like the first season, haven't seen the newer version of it. I haven't really checked it out yet, but I'll have to check that out soon enough. So I hope you guys have a good night and day. Judging my time sense. All right, bye.